I added 1 cup of teff flour, which is the smallest grain in the world, originating from Ethiopia. It's gluten-free. It contains magnesium and potassium. Magnesium is good for your heart. It repairs and creates DNA and RNA. And potassium heals wounds. It's good for growth. It supports the immune system. And I added some chickpea flour in there. Chickpea contains folate, which is very good for pregnant women because it prevents spinal cord defects during pregnancy. And chickpea flour also has iron, magnesium, phosphorus, and copper. And it contains antioxidants. It's very high in fiber. It regulates your hunger hormone, makes you feel full, and it is high in protein. Then I added some grapeseed oil, which contains vitamin E. And then I add 1 cup of warm water to the crust. And then I mixed it up, got it all blended together. And then I put that in the fridge to chill for about 20 minutes. And then I did take it out after 20 minutes and let it sit at room temperature. So now I'm preparing my cheese. So I'm going to add boiling water to some Brazil nuts and walnuts. Walnuts are very, very good for your brain. They contain omega-3s and essential fat acids, and they reduce heart disease, and they also nourish good bacteria in your gut and reduce inflammation, and it's good for your heart as well. And I let that soak for about 15-20 minutes. And while I let that soak, I prepared my vegetables that I was going to put on my pizza. So I cut up some bell peppers, which are high in vitamin C, and they contain iron. And vitamin C is good for helping the body absorb iron. So they go together, vitamin C and iron. And bell peppers are great for your immune function and your metabolism, and they contain antioxidants which protect your cells against oxidative damage, and they contain vitamin B6. And bell peppers are also good for protecting your eyes because they contain a carotenoid nutrient called lutein. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but lutein, Lutein. And then I prepared some cremini mushrooms, also known as baby bella mushrooms. And cremini mushrooms are high in vitamin D if they are exposed to the UV rays of the sun. And they're also good for protecting your heart and your nervous system and your blood. They contain riboflavin, which is good for your red blood cells, niacin, which is good for your digestive system and skin, and pantothenic acid, which is good for your nervous system and hormone regulation. And they also contain minerals such as copper, potassium, and selenium. And copper is good for activating enzymes needed to make neurotransmitters, which are family of chemicals essential for healthy brain functioning. And here I'm cutting up some black olives. And black olives are great in healthy fats and good cholesterol. They have antioxidants such as hydroxythyrosol, quercetic, and oleanolic acid. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. They also have vitamin E, and vitamin E neutralizes free radicals. And they have iron, which helps red blood cells transport oxygen. And they contain calcium as well. And here I have some delicious, beautiful purple onions. And so here I have some already store-bought tomato sauce, which I added my own seasonings to. I added some onion powder and some garlic powder and some sage, which is good for cleansing the body. And I also added some oregano. So now I'm about to prepare my cheese. I put my soaked walnuts and Brazil nuts into the blender, and then I put half a cup of hemp seeds. And hemp seeds are really good for you. They contain omega 3s and omega 6 as well. And those are healthy fats. They contain proteins and they contain all the essential fatty acids and amino acids. They contain vitamin E, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, iron, and zinc. And they reduce heart disease, and they promote the dilation of the blood vessels, and they promote relaxation of the blood vessels, which helps to lower the blood pressure. They're also good for healthy skin. So eat more hemp seeds. And then I just added the remainder of that water that I soaked in the nuts. And I added some rapeseed oil, and I added some fresh dill, and I added onion powder, cayenne, and salt. I did add another half a teaspoon of salt, so altogether it was 1 teaspoon of salt. And then I chopped half of a key lime. You see those seeds in there, real fruit. We don't do that fake fruit. But so I added 1.5 key limes to my cheese sauce, and then blended that out nice and creamy. And so now I'm going to roll out my dough. First, I'm going to add flour to the surface that I'm going to be rolling out my dough on, so it won't stick. And I just poured some chickpea flour down. And now I'm going to roll it around and knead it a little bit. Make sure that it's evenly distributed, the flour. Just want to make sure that I get a nice dough, even dough, pizza dough. Just going to continue kneading my dough. And then I'm going to add more flour to my surface to prevent sticking. Then I'm going to use a rolling pin to roll out my dough and flatten it. Flatten it as much as possible, but not too thin because you don't want it to rip. Then I'm going to take the pan that I'm going to be baking the pizza in and using it as a measuring tool to cut out the shape of my pizza, which will be in the shape of a rectangle. So just cutting along the edges of the pan. And then I am going to use the scraps for the crust of the pizza. and gently pick up the pizza, place it onto a pan with parchment paper to prevent sticking, and then I'm going to begin to fold my crust inward, and then I'm going to add those scrap pieces along the edges of my pizza to make a crust. I cut them into strips. So I have all my prepared ingredients. First, I'm going to add my tomato sauce. I'm going to spread that evenly. Make sure to get all the creases and corners. To make sure that there is no gaps. Then I'm going to add my cheese sauce, my dill cheese sauce. Now, right here, this could be enough for some people, but for some people, you might want to add more. So, do as you please. Now I'm going to add my vegetables. I'm going to add some of those beautiful bell peppers. I'm going to add some of those pretty purple onions. And then I'm going to add my mushrooms. Next, I'm going to add those black olives on top. And for the toppings, you don't have to put what I put. You can put whatever you like. That could be anything. That could be zucchini. It could be really anything. Tomatoes. You could use red bell peppers. And then I'm adding more cheese, of course. And then I have to put oil on my crust because I want my crust to be nice and crispy. Then I chopped up some fresh oregano, and oregano is really, really good at fighting bacteria. It's antiviral, which means that it's good at fighting infections. And it's also antimicrobial, and it fights against many strains of bacteria. And it also suppresses the growth and spread of cancer cells. So now I'm going to place my pizza in the oven that has been preheated at 350, and I also added some arugula. And I baked it in the oven for about 25 minutes. And then I took it out the oven and let it cool for 15 minutes. And here is the results. I cut the pizza up into squares. This pizza was really, really good. Like, really, really good. Yeah, I ate about 3 pieces. Yeah. And the last step is to simply enjoy this beautiful gourmet alkaline vegan gluten-free teff and chickpea flour pizza. Peace.